There are 100 different reptile YouTubers out there, and some of them are universally loved. But what if I told you there are 5 reasons that maybe you should stop watching snake discovery? Snake Discovery has 3.2 million subscribers or something like that. They're obviously very, very popular, and they come across as very nice and genuine people, but is that really the case? Is there something else going on with this channel? Well, here are 5 things to consider the next time you pull up a snake discovery video. Number 5, they buy whatever they want. Most YouTube channels out there stick to a certain set of species. They become an expert on those species, and then they go ahead and talk about them. This whole notion that somebody can sit behind a camera and talk about a bunch of different species every single week just seems different than what everyone else is doing. Not only that, but most YouTubers will breed a certain species or a set of species, and everything they buy goes into a breeding project. So everything they buy isn't for the enjoyment of the animal, which we all got into this for, or showing it off to your audience so that they can be educated and enjoy it too. No, most YouTubers do it the right way, which means they're buying certain things only, showing those things over and over, and then breeding those things ad nauseum. Snake Discovery just kind of does whatever the heck they want. Not only that, but the stuff that they do breed, they just sell way too fast. Are you kidding me right now? They sell absolutely everything. How annoying is it for me that I can't buy things whenever I want because they're so popular that they sell out? They're just doing too good of a job being too likable, and that, I think, is a reason enough not to watch Snake Discovery. Number 4, they're a bad influence. What I'm saying here is I didn't have any Pituophis before I started watching Snake Discovery. And they start talking about bull snakes and how great they are, and oh, they're not as bad as people say, and all of a sudden now I've got myself a bunch of Pituophis. And don't even get me started about hognose snakes, are you kidding? I started watching their channel, I had like 2 hognose snakes, and then I realized there was all these other really cool ones because of their videos, and all of a sudden now I've got like 15 hognose snakes. I can't afford to keep watching Snake Discovery. They keep showing me new things that I think are so cool. They're blue tree monitors, are you kidding me? I watch them, I go to their place a couple of times, I see how cool they are, and now all of a sudden I have blue tree monitors. And you could say, well, Adam, you made your own decision. You chose to buy all these animals. Okay, but do you think it's possible? Maybe it's possible that Snake Discovery is part of Big Reptile, and Big Reptile is paying them a commission on every reptile that they sell because of their influence? I don't think I'm crazy here. Not to mention, I've been buying bigger enclosures because of their influence too. I used to keep everything in smaller enclosures, and then I saw what they were doing with their animals and better care, more ethical care, and then now I'm caring for my animals in a better way because I started watching their channel. So it just got really, really expensive doing the right thing, and it's their fault. And before I get to number 3, I know you think this might be hard to have thought about, but thanks to my Magic Mind, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and you can get at a great price, WWR20 for 48% off, I can think about these all day long. So number 3, they use racks. There's a hot discussion on the internet right now about using racks. I made a whole video right here about when they are and aren't appropriate, but we all know because people on TikTok said so, and that's the only information you ever need about anything, that racks is completely wrong. Keeping animals in racks is totally wrong. I mean, let's really evaluate this here, okay? Sure, these racks look pretty and they look nice and they're for babies, and then eventually everything gets sold and the adults go on to grow up, but listen, racks are bad for several reasons. For example, let's suppose that a baby hognose snake, like you see here, you'd want to keep in something like, I don't know, a 5-gallon enclosure because it's really, really small. If you give them a bin in a rack that's actually bigger than that enclosure and makes them feel more secure, which is really important when they're babies because they've got less light coming in from all sides and they feel less exposed, that's bad because optically it looks bad, but look at these enclosures that they have. I'm sorry, not enclosures, I meant racks, tubs, which are obviously bad. And sure, they've got windows in the front, so they're basically the exact same thing as a glass enclosure or PVC enclosure. And yeah, it holds humidity great, and they do furnish it. It's more than just, you know, like a water bowl and some substrate, which they do give, by the way, natural substrate. And there's a bunch of furnishings in there as well. And it's bigger than most enclosures that most people give for these species. But that's not the point. The point is they're using racks, which are bad. And sure, maybe I've got a little hatchling rack here that I use for my hatchlings too, so I'm not really practicing when I'm preaching and I'm getting mad about what somebody does, even though I do the exact same thing. But That's completely fine on the internet. We already know that. Plus, because it's not me that has 3 million subscribers and everyone sees everything that I do and I can hide behind my facade of no one knowing what I'm actually doing, I am more virtuous in telling you on the internet that what they're doing is bad. Obviously, I'm starting a Reddit tonight. I should start a Reddit with a screen name and an avatar that's an anime character. That'll teach them. Number 2, they keep HOTS. They keep venomous snakes, which obviously is very dangerous. We can't just let YouTubers go get venomous snakes. Okay, sure. They were trained and went through training, and their zookeeper went through training, and the snakes that they keep are native snakes they're using for education, and it's a net good for everybody. And sure, they keep them in big enclosures that, again, are locked to the public, and there's no way you can get in. And sure, maybe the only people who have keys for these specific locked cabinets that they're in their enclosures are trained, and nobody else has access to keys, and there's zero possibility that anyone could ever get into these things. And sure, they don't take them out in front of people or bring them to educational events, but someone on TikTok told me I should be mad at anybody who keeps venomous snakes, so I am. Snake discovery is bad. And as a bonus, before we get to number 1, how dare they keep snakes that most of us can't keep? In their zoo, which they show all the time, we get it. You have a freaking zoo, and sure, it was hard earned, and you guys earned it, and anyway, the point is, you've got Burmese pythons, reticulated pythons, Argentine boas, animals that wouldn't be suitable for most people. So why would you show them on the internet and make other people want these animals? Sure, you have disclaimers, and I get it. You tell people, don't do it, and you've got these room-sized enclosures, and sure, it's great for us who can't keep those animals to be able to see on the internet and kind of feel like we're living vicariously through you. And sure, you have a staff to take care of them too, but I can't have 100 reptiles, so how dare you have 100 reptiles? Number 1. And the number 1 reason is that thing right there. The enclosure build-off is rigged. You see this? You notice how it says second place? There's no way that I went there all the way to Minnesota 3 years ago now and didn't win. How is that even possible? I mean, look at this enclosure. I mean, sure, okay, listen, maybe it's not them who even do the judging. Maybe they don't even do the judging at all and they have no say whatsoever in who wins. And it's you guys who watch who decided that Garden State Tortoise had a better enclosure than mine. And maybe it's true, it was a better enclosure than mine, just better looking all the way around and more functional and for a cooler species, and perhaps they presented it better and they're just more likable in general. But I still think that it's Snake Discovery's fault that sure, they bring a bunch of people out, they have 3 million plus subscribers, and they get to put everybody else who has smaller audiences on their channel, which is completely selfless and actually does nothing to benefit them but benefits everybody else. And sure, they do tons and tons and tons of work on this thing, and they put out a great video series, and it's fun and engaging, and all of us put out the videos, and it builds a whole community, and then everybody gets to watch in different ways of how people edit and put things together and tell stories, and it kind of shows behind the scenes of what YouTube really is. And maybe it seems like a net positive, but I didn't win, and that's a reason that I'm gonna stop watching Snake Discovery, just because I think it's unfair and wrong, and I should have won. What do you think? What are the reasons below that you stopped watching Snake Discovery? Make them in the same genre as what we talked about here today, of course. And are there other YouTubers that you want me to make videos about and telling you why you shouldn't watch them anymore? Maybe we'll do Clint or Garrett or Jay or Mikey and Ants Canada. There's so many channels that you just shouldn't watch, and I would love to tell you exactly why. If you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe. It really does help. And as always, thanks to the Patreon supporters, videos early, discounts on merch, all that and more for as little as $1 a month. And because we do videos twice a week, that means I'll see you in the next one.